America is the greatest country in the history of the world. The freedoms that we have are like no other. A government for the people, by the people, where all men are created equal. There's no place on earth that's like that. That's the reason why we have masses of people wanting to come to America to be a part of the freedom that we enjoy. The problem right now is we're having so many issues, so many problems, so many divisions. Is America on the verge of collapse? It's a question that's on a lot of people's minds because we see the media, we see what's going on. And there are many things that we can do, and we need to do them. One of the first things, though, that I would say to keep us from going into collapse is for good people. People that love what America stands for, people that love America in general because it stands for freedom, for liberty, for the right of the people, is that we need to be vocal. We're getting the vocal side of the opposition. We're getting the vocal side of people that are wanting to destroy what we have, to have a total, just restructure America because it's broken. And guys, there's nothing farther from the truth. America stands for justice, it stands for rule of law, and we're losing the rule of law. We're losing those things. And the first thing we need to really do is to get out and to be vocal. Whether it's on social media, if you're still on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, is to get your voice out there and make sure that you're telling people, look, I stand for America. I stand for law enforcement. I stand for rule of law. And these things are unacceptable and it needs to stop. Socialism is a dead ideology. We've seen it fail over and over and over. And we're looking at an experiment right now in Venezuela. It was one of the richest countries in South America. And it's becoming one of the most destitute in the world because of socialism. And socialism takes away your freedom. It takes away your choices. It takes away your opportunity. And it puts us down into an equal level. But guys, we need people that'll strive, that'll work hard, that'll go beyond and just do creative and incredible things, that will be innovative. And the problem with socialism is it kills all that. What we're dealing with right now is hearing a lot of minority voices that are loud, and yet it's making us feel like we're alone. And so it's really important to get out, to counter-protest, to take a stand. When you have a community that's coming together to support America and its true values, is to join that group. Are there dangers? Yes. But the dangers of staying silent are much greater. And if you want to look at any socialist or communist revolution, millions can die by the hand of the socialist or the communist. So you've got to take a stand now. That is one of the most important things that you can do if you want to preserve your freedoms, if you want to preserve what America's all about. Now, on the second hand, guys, regardless, you need to be ready. You need to avoid areas that are having riots, that are when people are looting and the police are hamstrung and they're just trying to keep status quo. You just need to avoid those areas. And guys, if you live in an urban area, which 85% of America lives in urban or suburban areas, you need to think about maybe a place to relocate, a place to bug out, if just for temporarily. But family, friends that live in other areas, just consider those places, make plans now if you need to get you and your family out. Next, you need to really consider your supplies, your food, your water. The rule of threes is one thing that I always use to set up my preps, to make sure that I'm prepared. And number one is 3 seconds without hope. You can't live longer. And of course, that's figuratively speaking. But we've got to have hope. And that's where we sound off our voices. That's where we talk to our friends and our neighbors to support the true values that America has. The second thing is you have 3 hours in harsh conditions, so you need to make sure that you have shelter, you have a place to be able to live, you have a place to be able to escape to if you need to. Now, I've always been big about saying bug out is the last resort, but if you find yourself in an area that is under turmoil and people are, causing problems and you're having rioting, looting, and we're having burnings, then, you're going to have to consider possibly bugging out. Secondly is you have 3 days without water. You've got to make sure you have some kind of water source. And not just a water source, but a way to filter your water. You may have a beautiful stream or a beautiful pond or river right next to you, but if you drink out of it, a lot of times it can have Giardia, Cryptosporidium, a lot of bacteria and microorganisms. So you need to know how to filter that water out, because filter, again, is 3 days. And then you go into food. Guys, we can live 3 weeks without food before your body starts to shut down. So you need to go ahead and get those food supplies ready. And the guys, the thing is, we've seen it with the COVID-19 and how grocery stores just emptied out. People started buying up supplies, and you don't want to wait until it's too late. Get your toilet paper now while it's back on the shelf, because if things heat up, it's going to go away again. Now, medical supplies and self-defense flow in between all those. And so you need to make sure, especially with the way hospitals can be overrun, overburdened, and you need to be able to take care of yourself. You need to have, a trauma kit. If someone's injured, it may take a while for an ambulance or any kind of medical help to get there. And then again, with the way that police are being attacked, defunding the police, you're going to have less police service. And so you need to make sure that you have ways to defend yourself. And guys, obviously the firearm is the first choice, but there are also other ways like pepper spray, having a good baseball bat that's close by, having a great security system that's in place with cameras. Guys, there are so many different choices for security systems right now that you can find one that's affordable to you. And you really need to have those things in place. Having good lighting around where you live is also important. Having communications. Your phone is definitely your primary communication source. We use it for so many things, but there can be interruptions in cell service. And if there is, a lot of times internet is still up. So having backups with Facebook, WeChat, Instagram, Snapchat, there's a number of different ways that are online that you can actually communicate. Skype is another one. And you can use that almost like you can use a phone, except you actually have video conferencing on a lot of these. And so it's a great way to be able to have those apps already in your phone to where you can use them if you need to. And make sure those that you need to contact also have those same apps that are looking for those same places to be able to receive communication from you. But then again, ham radio is one that has been a long standard for survival situations, and then two-way radios. There's a number of different choices, and so you need to go ahead and start doing your research. Even having a weather radio or an emergency radio that you can use that has solar, has maybe a hand crank in case the power goes down. And at least you can get information about what's going on around you. Now, communications also knowing what's going on around you. So make sure that you tune in, not just to national news, which tends to be what a lot of people do, is make sure that you go into your local news. You can even get police scanners, certain channels that you can log into. Now, a lot of them are encrypted, but you can kind of follow what's going on around you. And also get involved with Crime Stoppers or Neighborhood Watch, and to be able to find out things that are going on. And you can also have a security system right there in your neighborhood or your general area. Having situational awareness and knowing what's going on around you, not getting onto your phone while you've got a crowd around you and being completely oblivious, but staying in that yellow alert and knowing, looking around, just knowing your surroundings. You may be getting gas at a gas station, but just knowing what's going on around you can give you some warning. And to be forewarned is to be forearmed. So having those things in place to be able to watch and see what's going on. Also, people that are coming into your neighborhood that you've never seen before, doing unusual things, mulling around, hanging out, loitering in certain areas, or different cars that are going by slow. Just take note of them and make sure that you're aware that things are happening. And when you are out and about, have that gray man look. Blend in. Make sure you're going somewhere with a purpose. Stay out of areas that seem to be trouble. Avoid them. And then if you do fall into a situation, use good communication skills as far as de-escalating the situation, talking it down. Because guys, in the end of the day, you just want to survive. You want to get out of that area. And so it's best just to kind of blend in, and then if you are pointed out, just make sure that you can get yourself out of that situation in the best possible means. Now, with social upheaval, it can also mean financial upheaval. One of the things I've just seen is gold and silver prices are going up. And what that means is that your dollar is worth less. One thing about putting your money in a bank is to make sure that you have your money in a local bank, a bank that loans for local houses and cars and gives out personal loans and does not do investment banking. The problem with investment banking is that when you deposit money, that money immediately goes into stocks, mutual funds, it goes to the stock market, and so they don't really retain a lot of money there, and they can close in a hurry. A lot of times local banks will work with you and it's a lot easier. So if your bank is an investment bank, you want to consider maybe having a secondary or maybe just move your primary into a local bank, a bank that cares about the community. But also protect your wealth with gold and silver, precious metals. Gold is a little bit more difficult to get into because the prices have really risen. But with silver, especially junk silver, you can really stock up, buy a little bit. It's going to protect the money that you have. It's going to protect from inflation, and it's going to give you something to be able to use. But also having cash because sometimes ATMs can be out, and it's really good to have about a month's worth of money to pay your bills. And if you have that, then you can kind of get through that period. But again, money can be worthless over time, so you might want to make sure that you have that silver in place. So we definitely are facing a lot of situations, and if we don't stand firm and we don't get ourselves ready, we could fall into 1,000 years of darkness, just like Ronald Reagan said a number of years ago. We need to make sure that we're really speaking out and that we're taking a stand. We want to stand for freedom. We want to stand for the values of America because this is the last great hope. And guys, also, make sure that you vote. Make sure that you get out there and make your vote count. If we lose the Senate and they retain the House, and then we lose a Republican president, there is going to be no way to stop all these different agendas that are coming our way. And guys, last but certainly not least, the only thing that's really going to save this country is for us to get back to our spiritual moorings. What made this country great? Loving your neighbor as yourself, helping others, being kind to one to another, respecting property, and doing the right things. And if we don't have that, we have nothing. So make sure that the most important thing that you can do is to pray for our nation, because we need it now more than ever. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.